Throughout the endless corridors of human existence, we find ourselves confronted not with the grandiose, the monumental, or the epic, but rather with the trivial, the minuscule, the inconsequential. It is here, in these seemingly insignificant moments, that we uncover the true essence of what it means to be something. But what, you may ask, is that something? To understand this, we must first delve into the nuanced and intricate nature of our daily encounters with the mundane. Time. It moves forward, and yet, in its movement, stays still. The ticking of the clock is not just a measure of seconds, minutes, and hours, but a reflection of the continuous flow of life itself. And what is life if not a series of moments strung together by the thin thread of existence? Each tick a reminder of the impermanence of our permanence. Consider the humble cup of coffee, a drink that begins as a mere bean, transformed through the alchemical process of grinding and brewing into the liquid sustenance that fuels our every waking minute. But is it just coffee? Or is it a metaphor for the human condition? The grinding of the bean as a symbol of life's pressures, the brewing as a metaphor for the boiling point we all inevitably reach. In the final sip. The final sip. As the culmination of our experiences, bitter, yet somehow satisfying. And what of the shoe? Is it simply footwear, or does it represent the journey we undertake every day? The shoe is a vessel, cradling our feet as they traverse the path of our own destiny. Each step a choice, each choice a step. But are we the ones walking, or are we being walked by the unseen forces of fate? The untied lace. Could it be the loose ends of our own lives, frayed and neglected, waiting for the careful hand of introspection to tie them up once again? The candle. Unlit, it is a promise unfulfilled, a potential yet to be realized. It stands as a silent testament to the power of what could be, rather than what is. But even in its unlit state, it holds within it the power to illuminate the darkest corners of our psyche. Yet, it remains unlit. Why? Is it fear that keeps us from striking the match, or is it wisdom? Is it the recognition that once the candle is lit, it begins to burn, and with that burning comes the inevitable extinguishing of its light? Finally, we come to the book, a repository of knowledge, of stories, of wisdom accumulated through the ages. But it sits there, untouched, unread. Its pages are filled with words, yet those words remain silent, waiting for the curious mind to unlock their secrets. But is the act of reading not also an act of interpretation? And is interpretation not an act of creation? Thus, the reader becomes the writer, and the writer becomes the reader. The book, dusty as it is, becomes a mirror reflecting back the emptiness of its unread state, or perhaps the fullness of its potential. And so we find ourselves back where we began, surrounded by the objects of our everyday lives. Each one a symbol, a metaphor, a reflection of the complexities that lie beneath the surface of our... Each one a symbol, a metaphor, a reflection of the complexities that lie beneath the surface of our daily existence. And yet, after all this exploration, we are left with the same question we started with. What does it all mean? Perhaps the answer is not in the objects themselves, but in the act of contemplation. Or perhaps there is no answer at all. For in the end, meaning is not something we find, but something we create. Right?